In this video, I want to share my thoughts on Amazon as a platform. When I first started selling online, the go-to platform at the time was eBay. That's where I sold my products. Then I remember I was kind of struggling, and a mentor of mine said, you know what, just launch a product on Amazon, start making some money, and then you can concentrate on doing all this other stuff that you want to do online. And at the time, I viewed Amazon as the go-to, right? It was, if I sell the product on Amazon, that is all I need. I do not want to list it on eBay. I do not want to list it on Shopify. I do not want to list it on Etsy, Walmart, anywhere at all, right? It was just Amazon and that was it. And, you can understand where I was coming from. I figured that Amazon has the most search volume. Amazon pick and pack my order, which means that ultimately, if it's there and people are buying it, I just send the product into Amazon and that's it. I just forget about it, right? It just sells on autopilot. That was back in 2016. A lot of things have changed since then. First of all, Amazon has got a lot more competitive. So there's a lot more sellers in the game, and ultimately a lot of these sellers are actually racing to the bottom. So they're undercutting each other and me and everyone else and going with the lowest possible price. Okay. B, Amazon's charges have actually increased. So they're charging more for like fulfillment. They're charging more, not necessarily always, but a lot of the time in referrals. And, there's VAT complications and so many other things that are happening now that, the cost of selling on Amazon is much higher than it would have been when I started out in 2016. Now, does that mean it's a bad idea? No, not necessarily. But it does mean that we do need to adapt, right? So at the time in 2016, when I first launched my products, I didn't concentrate on branding. I just launched the product, stuck it on Amazon, barcode on the side of it, voila, in, done, dusted, right? The pictures even just were plain white background photos. There was nothing exciting about it. And it didn't need to be. And that made sales, and that method worked, right? If I got started maybe in 2013 or 2014, I would have made even more money, right? However, now, today, in 2025, we need to think a little bit differently, right? So as a beginner, someone starting out, would I just launch on Amazon? No, right? But I certainly would view Amazon as a platform. You might remember that I referenced that I started selling on eBay first, and I did. And when I went live on Amazon, I neglected eBay. I was only using it initially for secondhand items, but I neglected it completely for brand new items. Now I view Amazon, eBay, TikTok Shop, Shopify, all these sites, all these platforms as a store. And if I have a product that I've designed for Amazon, there is no reason why I should not have it live on all these other platforms as well. Because every extra sale that I can get is quicker turnaround time for my order and ultimately more profit for me and my business. And I could end up discovering that my product actually could be a lot more profitable on Shopify than it is, for example, on Amazon. Okay. But fundamentally, when you sell on Amazon, you're selling a product, but you're not selling to the customer. Amazon is selling to the customer. You're just receiving the proceeds of that sale, with Amazon taking their referral fee out of it and then ultimately their fulfillment fee if they're picking and packing the item, right? Now, that's grand, and I view it as a good mix. So if I have, for example, 100 units, and if 60 of them sell on Amazon, brilliant. That is great. That's some profit for me, consistent month on month. But if I can sell 20 on Shopify and maybe 10 on eBay, 10 on TikTok, that is additional sales, additional revenue coming in. And it means half the time it takes me to sell out an order than I would if I was just selling on Amazon. There's two things that really drive this home to me, why you should be on more than one platform. Number one, if you wake up one morning and you receive an email from Amazon saying your account has been suspended for whatever reason, right? We don't plan for these things. Like, we all obey Amazon's terms of service, but ultimately it is their platform. They can make the decision whether you can sell on it or not. But computers make mistakes. Algorithms make mistakes. Something could just look suspicious then it's not in reality, but nonetheless, overnight, your business could be completely gone. I've seen that before where I've been selling products, they've been doing really, really well, and then suddenly there's no sales. That's because it was shut down by Amazon, and then I have to work back and forth with support to get my account or my listing reactivated, right? If your business is only selling on one platform, when that happens, you're out of business, right? So immediately, I don't like taking those sort of risks. Now, number two, when you sell on Amazon, I alluded to this. You are not the seller. Amazon is. So the difference between me selling on Shopify and me selling on Amazon is that when I sell on Amazon, I can't reach out to that customer. I can't build a relationship with that customer. Nothing. Amazon is the person that's dealing with that customer. If you ask that customer, where did you buy X product? They would say Amazon. They wouldn't say Peter's store or whatever, right? Because ultimately they bought it from Amazon. Whereas if I sell a product on Shopify, I have a lot more freedom to control the interaction and the customer relationship and build it in a way that actually grows my brand's future revenue or my business's future revenue. So for example, on Shopify, the second someone buys, I could pick up the phone, I give them a call, I could send them an email, I could introduce them to, additional products that they may like. And by doing that, I can build a relationship with the customer and ultimately in time increase the value of my business if I'm able to sell them more products. When a large company sells, and it's no different for physical product businesses, the value generally is in the customer list or the customer base, right? It's not in the product. Sometimes it is, but generally it's in the customer base, because these are people that are loyal to you. These are people that will, for all intents and purposes, potentially purchase off you again, right? Or purchase similar products. With Amazon, I don't have that. I just have sales. Now, it's worth pointing out there is advantages from Amazon, and the primary one is, reach. People are comfortable with it, but also that they have a really good fulfillment service, right? So, for example, if someone orders an item, say 11 a.m. tonight, there is a potential possibility they will have it tomorrow. If someone orders an item at 9 a.m. tomorrow, in some locations, they will actually have it same day. So this is pretty amazing, right? And as a seller, it's not something I really want to get involved in. I do not want to be physically picking and packing items. That aside, what you can do is you can set up your e-commerce ecosystem in a way that if someone buys a product of yours on Shopify or someone buys a product of yours on eBay or any other platform, you can have it that Amazon will actually pick and pack the item and send it out to the consumer. So we actually do this for Apex. Apex is a mountain bike goggle company that I established along with Alex, my business partner, and Dougie just over maybe a year and a half ago, right? And we've only been live selling for a couple of months. And our product is located in Amazon fulfillment centers around the world. So the US, Canada, UK, Germany, Australia. And that means that we have a fulfillment operation to pick and pack our item in any of those locations. And we can reach the vast majority of the Western world within 1-2 days. Like, there's no way we could do that from the UK or do that from Ireland or do that from any of our facilities. We have no facility, like we're a small operation. So this ability to reach the global market utilizing Amazon is amazing. And being able to pair that with various other e-commerce platforms is great. So what you can see now is that, as a seller, you should be viewing Amazon as one leg on your 3 or 4-legged stool. So it's a platform. It's something that you can use to and leverage to get additional sales, additional revenue, but it should only be done generally as part of a broader mix of products. So that's my 2 cents.